Right then, let's get cracking with the recording. So this is the current English Premier League table. I'm recording this on the 3rd of March. So I put this together last night. There's been no games last night in the Premier League. So we've got the current Premier League table as of the 2nd of the 3rd, 2022. So we can see Man City top, Norwich, Watford and Burnley in the relegation places, Liverpool, Chelsea and Man United with the next three Champions League spots, and West Ham are currently in 5th place, occupying the European Cup place, or UEFA Cup. I don't know what they call it nowadays. Whatever it is, you know what I mean. I haven't highlighted the Conference League and stuff like that, Intertoto, all that nonsense. So how do we go about turning this table into a projected final table based on our Poisson distribution pack that we've been using for various videos? Well, let's go through and I'll show you how we did it. So, next up, what do? We have to find the remaining fixtures for the Premier League season 2021-22. Why I've put 2021 up there, and as though it's last year, just don't worry about that. It's this year, 2021-22. So, we've got a list of all the fixtures here and the game week. Taken from, I think I took from Soccerway. It's a bit tricky actually because some of them haven't been scheduled yet, so or on certain websites they're not looking at scheduled, so it wasn't as quick and easy as I thought it'd be. This whole thing wasn't as quick as easy as I thought it'd be. But so yeah, we've got the fixtures. Assume we've got all of our fixtures ready, and what do we need to do next? So next we need to run the result simulations for those fixtures. So we use our Poisson pack. It looks a little bit different here because I've stripped out the stuff that we don't need, the Dutching scores and the real odds. We don't really need odds per se, but we've got the value odds here just to show who we think is going to win the game. That's what we're interested in. For these calculations, I've been taking the correct score as the result, the first correct score. So if you've looked at the Poisson pack before, you'll see it comes up with 5 correct scores. And it's in order of the percentage chance of each one, the top one being the highest chance, down to 5. So this is the top score for each one when we ran it. I've stripped out all the other stuff because it just complicates matters. So as you can see, for Arsenal-Liverpool, the correct score was 1-1, the most common correct score. And then down to Wolves-Palace 0-0. There's a few 0-0s. I noticed actually there's quite a few 0-0 scorelines going on throughout the whole piece, which is probably too many in my opinion, especially getting towards the end of the season when people are scrambling for results. That's something that Poisson obviously doesn't take into account, the motivation, which is a massive issue or a massive consideration towards the end of the season. So, you know, I'm not saying it's going to be perfect. I just thought it'd be an interesting thing to do. So that's what we did next. We took the results, we took the fixtures that we showed you before, and ran the result simulations to see what they would come out at. So what do you do next? So next, an important thing to note is another reason it took so long. Originally, I thought we could just go through, put all of the fixtures down, record the results, put them into a new table. But then I realised that wouldn't actually work because that would be that wouldn't be in the spirit of Poisson, if you like. What we needed to do was update the Poisson data after each round of fixtures, so that the averages change and therefore the calculations change for each round of fixtures. Because if you do it the other way, if you do it just based on current fixtures, current data, and just run all of the fixtures through it, that doesn't take into account the goals scored in the next 3 matches, the next 4 matches. If a team loses 5 in a row, 3-0, then obviously their average goals against is going to be massively higher than it was before, and that'll affect the goal expectancy for the teams they're playing against and playing for. So it's essential that we update this Poisson data after every round of fixtures. So that took a little bit longer. So obviously I was running the fixtures for week 31, getting the scores like you saw in the previous clip, and then coming back into here and manually updating. So, okay, now Arsenal have played 14 home games. They won 2-0, so goals for 2, goals against 0. That would update their average goals. And then you go and put the away team in and say, okay, no more goals, but 2 against, an extra game. And it was pretty long, to be honest. It took ages, longer than I wanted it to. So, but that is what we need to do to give it a sort of as realistic edge as we could. So that was just a note on that. So then afterwards, we've got all of the results. we've got, as you can see, we've got the results of the games that we saw in the previous slide. All the fixtures remaining for 2021-22, got the year right that time. And then I added whether it was a home win, a draw, or an away win, just for future sort of analysis, really. I don't know who that 0 is on the side there, who got a home win. Week 31. That was because I was editing something. So yeah, we've got all the fixtures, got all the results. So now what can we do? Well, now we can put it into a table, can't we? What we do now is put it into our final projected Premier League table for 21-22. And here we are. So what happened? I've put some little indicators on the left-hand side to show who's moved up and down. We've got not much change at the top. We've got Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea in the top spots, as they were, or as they are at the current day. We've got Arsenal sneaking up into 4th place, which will no doubt please the Gunners fans immensely. And we've got Tottenham moving up into 5th to take that European spot ahead of West Ham, who are currently in it. Man United have dropped down to 6th. So Man United 6th and 7th have dropped for them, and Man United and West Ham 6th and 7th have dropped down for them too, but up for Arsenal and Tottenham into the European places. Particularly Arsenal, one of the biggest movers in terms of the final sort of prize, moving up into the 4th Champions League spot. The middle of the table, there's ups and downs, but it's not massively changing too drastically, I don't think. Then as we get down to the bottom of the table, there's a shock there. We've got Norwich and Watford relegated, which I think most people would understand being the same as it currently is. No disrespect to those teams. I'm a Birmingham City fan, so we don't feature here at all, so I'm not throwing any shade. Watford and Norwich going, but then we've got Burnley climbing up to 14th place, and Everton not experienced that upturn in fortunes that was hoped under Lampard, and actually finishing the 3rd relegation spot. Now that'd be massive, wouldn't it? That'd be a massive turn up for the books, and a shock if they were to go down. So we've got them going down with 30 points. Leeds just out of it at 32. Newcastle just above on 32, but above on goal difference. So Newcastle and Leeds both dropping from where they are at the moment. Brentford staying where they are, and Burnley going up. A couple of drops for Brighton and Palace. Villa going up a little bit. Southampton dropping. Leicester going up, and Wolves staying where they are. So yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? Obviously, it's just a simulation, and I'd be surprised if the results could be accurate, but the goals against goal difference, I think, looking at the results that came in, I'd be surprised if they were, well, they're not going to be completely accurate, are they? I think there was a few too many 0-0s, as mentioned before. I'm not saying those games wouldn't be drawn, but I'd be surprised if so many finished 0-0 towards the end of the season. But yeah, so there you go. There's our final projected Premier League table based on current data and extrapolating for the rest of the Premier League season. Let me know in the comments what you think below, whether you think this could be a realistic outcome. And yeah, I hope your team fared better than it did in the current table. I'm sorry for any Everton fans, but buzzing for Arsenal fans and Tottenham fans, I guess. So yeah, let me know what you think, and I'll try and get some of these out for the other leagues as well, particularly the Championship. I think, see who can get promoted into the Premier League. Yeah, we'll get onto it. Cheers. See you later.